Green Lantern Corps number 19, written by Peter Tomasi, art by Fernando Pasarin. So this is the next part of Wrath of the First Lantern, and it's like not even a part. It's a big issue. A big thing happens, but it's going to be so quick to read. So the last two issues, we had Guy and John and Fatality all being tortured, quote unquote, by the First Lantern, and I thought this issue was probably going to be the rest of the Corps, but it turns out the rest of the Corps have been tortured this whole time. They have already been sent down their alternate life paths or whatever. And the First Lantern's basically just taunting them, saying, I'm going to keep doing this forever and ever and ever. And we see a big pile of green rocks just come in and start to coat all of our different Green Lantern Corps members. And everyone's like, what in the hell is going on here? And it turns out that it is severing the connection that the First Lantern has on all the other Corps members. And they don't know what's going on, but it's happening all across Ella. And this voice starts speaking out to them, saying exactly what I said of, oh, I'm severing the connection. Volthoom will not be able to connect with you. He's not going to be able to tear you away from the influence, blah, blah, blah. Basically, it's Mogo. Mogo, after John went and found him, has reassembled and is using pieces of himself or herself to bring all the Lantern Corps onto Mogo and away from Volthoom. And everyone's like, oh, hey, Mogo, we're kind of really, really weak, and you are bringing us in at, like, entry speeds. This is going to hurt. And he's like, don't worry, I'll totally protect you. And everyone just crash lands and all lands in one single spot. And Mogo says, all right, cool, you're all here. First Lantern's going to show up in no time at all, so I need you all to get up and be ready to fight. And everyone's like, oh, we can't, we're too weak, oh, it sucks. And then immediately the First Lantern's there like, oh, hey, Mogo, glad you're back. I'm going to see if I can make you scream as well. And he plants his abilities or whatever into Mogo. Mogo starts screaming out in pain. He's like, oh, yeah, that's great. But here's what I'm going to do to piss off everybody else here. I'm going to make constructs that represent their fear and their rage and also their death, because sure, why not? And I'm going to use those, and they have to fight against themselves, but in this stuff. So we get a Black Lantern John, a Yellow Lantern Fatality, and a Red Lantern Guy, as well as various different versions of all the other Corps members. And it's just a giant fight scene. It goes on for 3 double-page spreads where they're just fighting against each other. And it looks great. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's just a fight scene. There's nothing I can really elaborate on it besides that. So at some point towards the end of the fight scene here, we see our guys, our heroes, get the upper hand on the constructs, and they all froze up. And mind you, I guess the point of the entire fight scene is to show them slowly building up the will to fight. At the beginning, they're getting knocked around, and then they come together and they find the will. Much like Mogo said they needed to do. But now the constructs have all frozen, and they're like, wait a minute, what's going on? Did we beat the First Lantern? And Mogo says, First Lantern didn't show up. This was all me. I used this to motivate you. I made these fake constructs out of myself because that's part of my ability in order to motivate you and have the willpower to fight. And now you know that you are strong enough to blah, blah, blah. You get the gist of it. They have willpower. And at that point, everyone's like, you know, Mogo, you're right. We did it. We'll go out there and we're going to beat the First Lantern. And everyone raises up their rings and says the oath, including Fatality, which is weird considering she's Indigo Tribe, but whatever. Or no, she's Star Sapphire. My bad. But that's where the issue ends. That's it. And I have a real issue with this. So what I've been saying throughout this whole Wrath of the First Lantern thing is I don't feel like we've seen why the First Lantern is the biggest bad. Everyone keeps talking like, oh, he could, if we kill him while he has this power, it will destroy all life in the universe. And it's like, okay, but like, that's not him being bad. That's just a thing he has. What makes him powerful? What makes him a force that needs to be stopped? And I felt like this issue had it. This issue, it made an entire planet cry out in pain, and then it made these constructs of all the other Green Lantern Corps members to fight against them one-on-one. That felt like the level of power I've been looking for. And then it turns out it wasn't him. It turns out it was just Mogo being Mogo. And I feel like I care even less about the First Lantern now. The fact that he wasn't even here. This had nothing to do with the First Lantern. The entire 7-page fight scene in this book had nothing to do with the First Lantern. I feel let down, frankly. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of just, we are getting to the stopping point. Green Lantern 20 is going to be the big wrap up of all this. And I feel like we haven't set it up. I feel like we haven't done it. Like, yeah, we're going to wrap up all the plot lines that are going on, but I feel like they're just going to smoke First Lantern because he's done nothing to show why he's so powerful this whole time. We've heard people talk about him be powerful, but he's done nothing, and this issue only furthers that, in that he didn't do anything when an entire planet stopped in and said, nope, you can't have these anymore, and just yoinked them away. If he can't take down a single planet, John took down 2 planets. You tell me First Lantern can't show up and just be like, no, Mogo, poof, and that's it. I don't know. I'm annoyed by it, I guess is the biggest thing. Is that this would have been perfect to give the First Lantern some actual powers, and they just threw it away. So, yeah, overall, I got to give this one like a, I don't know. It's the art's fine, the fight scene is okay, but it's just the overall conceit of the comic upsets me. So I'm gonna give this one a 5.5. I'm getting real tired of First Lantern, and I don't really care what happens next.